are celebrating the book release of The Conspiracy of Jack Frost. I am super excited because today we're celebrating my book, babies. Oh, and I'm so excited. It's going to be amazing. And we're going to answer all your questions about The Conspiracy of Jack Frost today. It does come in paperback. It does come in ebook and in hardcover with a totally different cover. So we're going to take a look inside of the book. We're going to take a look at the interior and the alt covers and all the things. We're going to answer all the questions. You can get it everywhere books are sold, Tori, and it's out today. So let's actually go ahead and let's take a look. But before I show you that, I just want to make sure that you all have seen Jack Frost and Genesis. I'm just saying, okay, we'll come back to that in a minute. Let me go ahead, let me show you the inside of this book. So, we've got the paperback. So we've got this gorgeous, glorious paperback. You can see on the paperback that we've got the seasons crashing into each other, which is all about what the story is about. In fact, let me go ahead and read this to you. Only one person can stop an out-of-control weather machine, the boy who became a legend. No one inside the snow globe knows that Morozoko Industries is controlling their weather, testing them to form a stronger race that can survive the fallout from the bombs being dropped on the outside world. All they know is that they must survive the harsh winter that lasts a month and use the few days of spring, summer, and fall to gather enough supplies to survive. When the seasons start shifting, Genesis and her boyfriend Jack know something has gone wrong. As their team begins to find technology that they don't have access to inside of their snow globe of a world, it looks more and more like one of their own is working against them. Genesis soon discovers that Morozoko Industries is to blame, but when a foreign enemy tries to destroy their weather program to make sure their life-altering bombs succeed in destroying the outside world, their only chance is to shut down the machine that is spinning out of control and save the lives of everyone inside the bunker at any cost. So, we are going to see that we've got the seasons crashing into each other, so it's like, a month of winter, 2 days of spring, a week of summer, 2 days of fall kind of a thing. And that's their cycle in this bunker that they don't know that they're in a bunker. And unfortunately, with this weather machines going out of control, so you can have like extreme heat take one step over and it's extreme cold, like winter versus summer. You can have a wall of rain that ends right here and you can kind of like go back and forth in between it. It's extreme weather and people are starting to lose appendages because of it and people are starting to die because of it. So they have to figure out what's going on. Someone has betrayed them. They have to figure out who it is. It's really, really interesting. This is the paperback version. The hardcover version, you can see we also have that clashing of the different types of seasons. So we've got the things with the frost here. We've got those nice green spring and summer things. We've got the trees, the ice, the frozen lake and the waterfall and the stuff. It goes around to the back cover as well. And then we also have, under that, we've got an alt cover. So it goes to what it looks like over on the paperback issue of this. We've got the blurb on the inside. And how cute is that with me with all my books? I love it. And so inside, I'm actually going to pick up the paperback because that's easier to open. I am going to show you the title page. So we've got this gorgeous title page, which, by the way, this is important. This is a very important scene inside of the story. We've also got our really pretty chapter headers. And if you guys want to hear me read some of this, tomorrow we're actually going to be reading the first chapter of this, which I'm so excited for. I think my proudest moments with this book are the prologue and the epilogue. I love it. I love the twist that I have written inside of this story. I love everything else. There is hidden artwork inside. So real quick, I'm just going to go like, oh, I saw part of it, but I didn't show it to you. There we go. We do. As you are reading this, you will come across a very swoony picture of Jack and Genesis. And if you pay attention, if you've read this story and you know who these people are, watch where their eyes are and what they're looking at, because there's extreme significance in that. I'm just saying, my artist is better than your artist. I love it. I love it. Speaking of which, we've got some cool artwork we're going to look at today. We're going to give you behind the scenes. We're going to talk about the journey that is the conspiracy of Jack Frost, and we'll get your questions answered. So now is a great time to go ahead and drop your questions in. This is our weekly Q&A, Ask Me Anything, but we're celebrating the conspiracy of Jack Frost today. So I want to jump into your comments, and then we're going to talk about Jack and Genesis and everything you need to know, all the good characters, like all the cool stuff. We can talk about some really cool things. I actually had, there we go, so that I could see it. Let me go ahead and get those comments for you. Let's see. Hello. You've got your popcorn in case there's another duel for Jack Frost today. gosh, yeah, I love it when you guys fight over my characters. You're loving the cover. I'm so glad. Love the title page. I'm glad that you like the title page because I got some secrets up my sleeve about that. Not just what it's connected to inside of the story, so maybe stay tuned. The book is amazing. You need to go back and look at your copy. You do. Is Jack your new favorite male character? No, he's not. No one will ever replace Dove Bear for me, but Jack is definitely on my top 5 list. He is very swoony. If you've got questions, if you've got comments, now is the time to go ahead and drop those down. Let's take a look at that artwork again, because I freaking love this. And I was holding these up today. I was taking some pictures. I just have to say, this particular drawing of Genesis and the way that it is gives me Pretty Little Liar vibes. Does anybody else see a touch of Aria with the bluish things behind her from Pretty Little Liars? Every time I see it, I'm like, oh, okay. But that's actually Snowy Mountains. It goes along with Jack's. It's just another version of the mountain in a different location. But so fun, right? I'm loving this, and we are working on creating this type of art for all of my characters. So we are hitting all the main characters first, and then we're going to build it out to do all the side characters as well. So we're doing a website makeover right now. I say we, I mean me. And that's going to be launching pretty soon. And oh my gosh, the artwork that I have for you, the behind the scenes and the new stuff and the trailers and like all the cool stuff. Whew, I got good stuff coming. I had good stuff on there. Now you can still go see stuff for The Conspiracy of Jack Frost, but I got big stuff coming when that launches in the next couple of weeks. As soon as I have time to do it, I am working on one more project before I get to that, which I think you all are going to like as well. And no, I'm not going to give you a hint on it, but really cool, really cool. Thank you, Freedom, for the birthday wishes. It's not a sequel for The Revolution of Jack Frost. So I had sold this book to a publisher, and I finally got my rights back after 3 years. So this is actually the book put out the way that I want to put it out, and Amazon just refuses to take the old one down. So that is not in publication, The Revolution of Jack Frost. They made me change the title. That is not in publication. They're just selling off a couple of books that they had left over in the warehouse, and then Amazon's just going to leave it there because Amazon is Amazon. But this is the first book in the series. It is built to be a standalone, but there will be a sequel because I knew I was going to do a sequel after I got my rights back. So that'll come out probably in a few months. So we got some cool stuff planned for it. But the Revolution of Jack Frost is the exact same thing. It's just not my version of it. It's not the way that I created. This is the way I created it, and oh, do I have it packed full of good things for you. Tori, you can get a copy of it everywhere books are sold. They are on Amazon and Barnes & Noble and all of the major platforms. So you can get them wherever. Just search my name and the title. It totally gives you Aria from Pretty Little Liars vibes. I know. Ask me questions about Jack and Genesis. I would love to get those answered for you. We're doing fights to the death. Beautiful. I love it. I will say Dove is a sweeter boy than Jack, though, so KM can keep Dove. You can't wait for the sequel. I don't think I can wait that long for it. Absolutely no spoilers. Absolutely no spoilers. Oh, but yeah, I did write it to be a standalone because I knew it was going to be a standalone for 3 years while it was under contract to the other company. And now I get to do cool things with it. So I'm really excited. Yes, I do have a cover for it. I can't wait to show it to you, but it's not going to be today. Ooh, did you just get another glimpse of that? I don't know if you did. Okay. How did Jack and Genesis meet? Well, my story picks up when they're already in a relationship, so you don't actually get to see how they meet, but there is a scene that I have written. It's hidden somewhere on the internet. I don't even remember where, because I put it out 3 years ago when this book was published by the other company, and it talks about not when they met, but it talks about when they first started dating. So when they kind of confessed that they had feelings for each other. So that's floating around on the internet somewhere, maybe on my website, possibly, probably more likely on my Facebook Messenger bot where you can go and play games. So you can actually search for that, and I'll have to search for that at some point. Somebody DM me that and remind me to do that. And we are going to reveal that at some point. I'll find it and we'll do some cool stuff with it. I'll probably put a new cover on it because I don't even know what's covering it. Oh, yes, I do. Yes, I do. But we're going to revamp it. It's going to be great. I'm super excited. Oh, man, that would have been so smooth if I hadn't dropped it. I was just going to, like, pop up the artwork and freak everybody out, and I dropped it. No smoothness for me. Is there a difference between the story itself? It's the exact same thing. exact same thing. I wrote this book in 9.5 days because they had asked for one of my books because they wanted to sell one of my books. So I offered this one up to them. I wrote it in 9.5 days, turned it into them, only had a handful of typos in it, and then it went to publication. So this is the exact same thing. It's just my quality. So I'm very excited for this one, and we put the original cover title back. So if you have read the original, the first one that came out, same story, nothing has changed in that. Their relationship is so cute. I know. They're adorable, and I love it. I wanted to tell this story because I'm a huge fan of Jack Frost. Like, I love Jack Frost stories. I love the old stop-motion Christmas one, back when they made, like, Rudolph and all of them. I loved that version, fell in love with Jack Frost, and then at some point they had the Rise of the Guardians after I had decided to do a Jack Frost retelling, but before I had written it. And I just fell in love even more, so I really wanted to tell Jack's story, and it has been so fun for me to do it through Janice's point of view. So this is all through Janice's point of view. We get to see her watch him become a legend, and I had planned the things that I was going to do inside of this story. So every time you see a twist, I knew it was coming before I even started it. I love what I accomplished in this story, and it was so good. So when it comes to this cover, we've got the clashing of the seasons. This is really important, and if you pay attention to this cover and the sequel's cover when I show it to you, after you've read the book, I want you to really examine this cover because there's a lot of symbolism in this one, in the paperback, the person version. So we've got the flowers, we've got the leaves, we've got Jack, we've got Genesis, and then the sequel also has another version of Jack and Genesis, and we've got actually more of like the spring and wintry type vibes to it. But there's symbolism in it. There's reason and logic, and you're going to make it makes sense once you've read it and you know who these characters are and what's going on. And if you've read it and you want to come talk about it with me, we can discuss. But I won't until then. The man, the myth, the legend. I know. I did like the Rise of the Guardians. I thought that was very well done. And so we are here hanging out for a couple of minutes. We are going to be answering your questions and doing all the fun, fabulous things when it comes to celebrating my book birthday. So I'm excited for this one. We are going to hang out and celebrate, so ask the questions. We have some really interesting characters, and maybe real quick, maybe what I'll do is actually turn this around for you guys. Oops, that didn't go very well now, did it? Let me pull this back up just a little bit. I'm going to take it up for just a second because I wasn't going to do this, but I think I am going to do this. So let me turn that. There we go. Here are my characters. We've got Jack, Genesis. We've got Nathaniel. I love Nathaniel. Azra, she's really fun. Ness is very interesting. They're friends of theirs. And then we've got Eliza and we've got Perrin. These are actually siblings, and he's kind of their doctor. But then we've got the children. There are children who just kind of show up and appear inside of the bunker, and we get to learn about Nicholas and Lily. Nicholas is just this shy, quiet little thing who attaches himself to Genesis, and Lily is very outgoing and has the world's biggest crush on Jack. And it really does come very strongly into play as we are reading through this. So, fun things. I just kind of wanted to show you some of the characters there. I adore them, and we're going to have character art like this of all of them at some point. We're working on it. You just know with art, it's a little bit of a slow process. Am I book bounding with my dress today? Yes, actually I am, and I TikToked it, so that is going to be dropped a little bit later today because we have to space them out. So I definitely did some book bounding with it. I dressed up a little bit differently. We had some other accessories going on, but I didn't wear them for the live stream. But I definitely book bounded for that. And if you've not checked out my book bounding series over on TikTok, make sure you do. I'm going to be bringing it to Instagram soon. I just have to give it a little gap time in between. You feel very unsure about Nathaniel? Oh, I love Nathaniel. Riley, we'll talk about him later. Yeah, interestingly enough, we were actually just talking about representation over on my TikTok in the pre-show party, so I've got a whole bunch of different characters with different representation on my different stories, because somebody was asking if I have written any African-American characters, and I have several, quite a few as main characters and also supporting characters, so always a good idea to go check on like Amazon or any of the buying sites where you can check the cover, because usually books with people sell more than books without people. So you're going to have a pretty good idea if they have representation on it. But if not, you can just read through the blurb. Most of the time it will tell you. So always a good thing to go look at that. Her crush on Jack matches yours. I know, Lily is obsessed with Jack. It's really, really cute. It's so funny. I definitely did like the little schoolgirl crush through her. I'm like, what does everyone else think of Jack? Well, they absolutely adore him. They're, like, super hardcore crushing on him. But because they're, you know, responsible human beings, they're not going to be like, I know you're dating Genesis, but, like, hi. I totally did the fangirl thing through Lily, which I love. So this little toddler of a girl is just like, mine, he's mine. And she gets so jealous and possessive over him, and I love it. It's so cute. But then we've got Nicholas, who's just this sweet, quiet little thing who would just, like, sit on your shoulder and just let you cuddle him for hours. And I love those two. And if you guys know me at all, you know I work with little kids a lot. So I'm, like, here for all the little kid goodness. And this is really my opportunity to write children into my story, because you guys know I'm really mean. If I write puppies or children into my books, usually it doesn't end so well, so I try not to do that. So this is really my opportunity to just be like, yep, I'm a kid person, and I loved it. And there's not just the two of them, but those are the two main ones. What were you saying about wallpaper on TikTok earlier? Do you like art? I might be working on some wallpapers. That's all. So why did the book have a different name before? The publisher made me change it. They wanted it to be, something different. They didn't think this one would sell quite as well. They thought this sounded a little too something else. And so that was up to them. When you sign a book with another publisher, you get absolutely zero say in anything from that point on. If they say you have to have this cover, you have to have this cover. If they say you have to change the title, you have to change the title. If they say you have to redo your entire manuscript, you have to redo your entire manuscript. As soon as you sign a book contract, you've given away all rights, and you do not get to have any say in what happens. So they wanted it changed, and we changed it. So when I got my rights back, I changed it back. I love the Elite book bounding. I love that book so much. Oh, I'm so glad that you enjoyed that. I am enjoying doing the book bounding, and I'm like mixing it up between my books and other people's books because I really want to pull it in. But with TikTok's new algorithm change that just happened this week, they're unfortunately now doing what Instagram is doing and all the other social platforms are doing. They're taking your videos and they're showing them to people who are already following you. Based on your followers engaging with them or not, they decide maybe to put it on the FYP. So most videos from this point going forward, unless they change the algorithm, will not be shown publicly. They'll only be shown to people following you. So that's not really getting a ton of views. So when you see things like that, please make sure you're leaving comments, and please make sure you're sharing the video with your friends or even to yourself, because that helps boost it to then show it to the FYP so more people can see it and get involved. We had, almost 300,000 views on one of the selection videos I did when I was just talking about it. This one, it had like 200 views instead of 200,000 views. So help a girl out. Interact with the TikToks, please. This new algorithm's going to kill us all. Not good. I didn't know books with people sold more than books without people. Yep, books with people on them sell far more ebooks than physical books, and 90% of an author's income is ebooks. So if you want to sell books, it's a very strong, wise choice to have a girl in a pretty dress on your cover. That is what sells the most. So there you go. I feel like I'm Lily in the book. Nicholas is so cute when he interacts with Jen. I know, so cute, right? Everyone needs to interact with Cam. Yes, please, please do. If you've got questions, now is the time to go ahead and drop those down there. I would love to get them answered for you as we talk about the conspiracy of Jack Frost. I have my baby back, and I'm so excited. I'm so excited to share Jack and Genesis' story with you. So many cool things have been happening. Oh, I almost showed you a secret. Speaking of secrets, let me tell you a little something. So we have inside of this book, we've got these chapter headers. I know it's a little hard to see, but there's actually some hidden pictures in here. The printer, unfortunately, we've been having trouble with that printer, has printed it a little bit blurry, and you can't quite see everything, but it's small, but there are hidden pictures in here. So if you have the ebook version, it's going to be a lot easier to see. I will be putting this up on the website as well, but there are hidden pictures inside of the chapter headers. So as you're reading, you can actually jump in, and you can identify things inside of the chapter headers that are happening inside of the story. It's very similar to my Golden Trilogy, but those have a lot more. So the Golden Trilogy has like 26, 27 hidden pictures in every chapter header for each of the different books. This only has like 7 or 8, but they're really cool. So you can see like the waterfall is one of them, and you can see Jack and Jen and different things. So there's stuff, and it's pretty exciting. Whew. All right, so let's keep talking, let's keep chatting all about this. If you have not shared this video with your friends here on Instagram, please make sure you do. Please make sure you're leaving some hearts and some comments, because that tells the Instagram algorithm to kick this video out to more people so that they can come join the party too, as we're here celebrating the conspiracy of Jack Frost. And I really, really love these covers. Like, I love them. And I love the sequels cover, which you guys won't see until the book is ready. But it has different vibes to it. It's still got Jack and Genesis on it. The colors are magnificent. But it's got some different vibes because now we're in a different season of this story. And I'm really excited to show you all the cool things happening inside of this. So, I'm going to hold this one up for a bit because I haven't given this one a lot of love yet on this live stream. But I would love to get your questions answered. We do have the alt cover under this, so you do get both versions if you grab the hardcover version, which is pretty fun. And like, look at the tagline there. Ooh, that turned out really nicely. That turned out so nice on the camera. Look at that. Do you guys ever love just like looking at the back cover of books? Like, I love photographing them and putting them out on social media. Most people don't do that. But the smart authors and publishers do really pretty backgrounds and really pretty spines so that you can put them on social. Like, book backs. Oh, I love it. I love it, especially here on Instagram. So we got some cool things going on with this, and I loved creating this. I actually built the background first. So I had the frozen river and the mountains in the background and the snow and that night sky and the tree, the side tree right here growing. And then I put the leaves, that barrier, that kind of entryway in between it. We have the front leaves as well. We've got like the green spring bright ones. We've got the frosted ones down here, and it does wrap all the way around, so it goes into this part, and then the back cover part goes over to here. So that's pretty exciting, and I'm so excited. Which cover is my favorite of these two? The one with the people on it, probably, but I really like both of them. How would I describe Jack and Genesis' relationship? Full of fluff, or, oh, it's like you've never read one of my books. Have I ever just given you a fluffy relationship? Ever? No. I hand you what seems to be a fluffy relationship, or what seems to be what would be a fluffy relationship, or will eventually be a fluffy relationship, and then I rip them apart. I destroy them. I make them work so hard and give them so many scars. I don't write fluff. Ever. You will need tissues, you will hate me, you will throw books across the room. So they do appear like an absolutely perfect couple at first, and then we start to learn things. And that's all I'm going to say, because spoilers. Oh my goodness, if you saw my TikTok video when I got Virtually Sleeping Beauty, I was getting all kinds of excited over the cover. Oh, exciting! I like that you loved it. That was actually the second cover for Virtually Sleeping Beauty, because everyone asked for sequels, so I'm working on sequels for it. I love the first cover too, though. Like, very video game-esque. Very cool. Alright, go ahead and ask your questions. We can talk about the conspiracy of Jack Frost. We can talk about other things as well. This is our weekly Q&A, Ask Me Anything Hangout session. We're just celebrating the conspiracy of Jack Frost. My book baby's out in the world, and I'm so excited. Such a happy, proud book mama. I'm loving that this book is back out in the world, and now we get to talk about Jack and Genesis again. Oh, so good. And I have big things planned for the website, so stay tuned. We're doing the website makeover, but I got, like, massive things I'm going to be sharing with you on there. If you've got questions, if you've got comments, now is the time. We're hanging out for just a couple more minutes for today's party, and celebrating Jack Frost and Genesis, who, by the way, also goes by Jen. How was the video game and book review systems going? Well, I'm glad you've asked. I just had another meeting with the game people, so we are in the next stages of this. It is coming soon-ish. We're just waiting for one thing to be enabled, but we have the ability to create and then switch what we need to for the art that we've created for it. So that is coming soon. Don't have an exact date on it yet. We're just waiting on the tech side of it to get handled. For the book review system, everything is out of my hands right now. I'm just waiting for one thing to come back to me, and as soon as that comes back to me, it will be out to you. So that is very, very, very close, probably early next week. I think it's scheduled to come back to me toward the end of this week. So early next week-ish, I will have exact details on how to effectively review a book so that you're getting lots and lots of authors and publishers asking you to review because you've created an effective review that helps people to make a choice about whether the book is right for them or not. How would I describe Jack's personality? Jack is magnetic. Jack Frost is a force. In fact, you need to hear this. Let me just show you this, because this will tell you a lot of things that you need to know about Jack Frost. This is the prologue, and tomorrow we will be doing a live reading from the first chapter of The Conspiracy of Jack Frost on my YouTube and on my Facebook, but you need to hear this. He was a force of nature. He could warm your soul like the sun and then bury you in ice the next second. He was more destructive than any universal element has ever been or could ever be. It was his way to be like a hurricane crashing upon the shores or lightning splintering everything in its path. He was a force, but he was my force. And in the end, it didn't matter, because he disappeared, just like the weather always does, here for one brief moment and gone the next. His name was Jack, and his love for me was like a flood, now frozen over. Jack Frost is highly magnetic. He is the one in the room that everyone is drawn to. He is absolute perfection. He is the one that all the little children love, everybody wants to be or everybody wants to be with. He is sweet and kind and caring and compassionate. He is amazing, but the man also has some flaws, and you get to learn what those are inside of this story. And that's where I'm gonna leave that. But, oh, man, he is magnetic. Is the game going to be like episodes? Yes, it will be similar to the episodes app. It's just kind of like an elevated episode or chapter app game. This particular app is far, far, far advanced from that. So they have some really cool extra things involved with it and different ways of engaging and interacting and community building. I'm going to tell you about it when the game is out. But it is similar vibes to that, but like times 100. It's like episodes on steroids, but like good. So big, big things are going to happen with that one. Who was my favorite female character? Out of everyone that I've written, probably Jade. Jade from the Jade Duology, Illyria from the Golden Trilogy, and Annika from Sugar Coated, and Genesis from The Conspiracy of Jack Frost would probably be my top 4. I'm just kind of like breezing through my characters right now. Did I forget any of my favorites? Those are probably my top favorites. He is the boy that every girl wants to date. This man is the reason we have high expectations for real life men. I'm just saying, that's a thing. It's true. I love it. Oh, I love him so much. I love talking about him too. Like, my obsession is real. I'm obsessed with the old, like, the Jack Frost I fell in love with as a child. I'm obsessed with the Jack Frost from Rise of the Guardians. I am obsessed with my Jack. Like, obsessed. Those are your favorite ladies that I've written too. I know, because they're so good, right? You know who else I really love? Muffet from Along Came a Spider. She's my sassy cyberpunk hacker, Little Miss Muffet. And she's so aggressive. She's kind of a bully. Like, not like viciously, but also like she's very aggressive. And she's just, I just love writing her. I love telling her story. I love being in her presence. She is so fun, and she will like shatter you if you mess with her. I love it. I'm literally like trying to see around my shoulders who else I love. I really need to do those definitive rankings of like my favorite characters. which I'm working on, but I'm kind of stalling because I'm trying to get all the artwork so that I can attach it to that blog post. But yeah, lots of really fun things, because I have over 2 dozen books that I've written at this point. Speaking of which, for those of you that weren't paying attention, we did release a book last Tuesday, and we released a book today, and we're releasing a book next Tuesday. I know, it's kind of busy, so if you didn't pay attention, next week we're dropping the Easter story, and then last week we dropped, if I can find it. Oh no, maybe I can't. Where did it go? My St. Patrick's Day book. Here it is. St. Patrick's Day. Beautiful. That came out last week, so that's available now. This one will be available soon, and Jack is available today. Jack has now ruined all boys for me. Not even my boyfriend can live up to Jack's standards. That was my intention when I wrote that. You're welcome. Can you tell us... wait, hold on. I gotta read that. Can you tell us what Jack's favorite thing about Genesis is? I think... if I remember correctly, I discussed that inside of the book. We do have some deep conversations with Jack inside of the book. The two of them are seemingly very similar, but actually quite opposite. They complement each other very nicely. So where one is a little more forward, one is a little more reserved. Where one might be a little more ready to rush into things, one is going to be a little more cautious. Where one is willing to do something, the other is maybe going to step back and really evaluate it first. And they take turns doing this. It's not necessarily personality traits that are definitive to one or the other, but they assess things differently and they walk into things in a different way. So they complement each other very, very nicely. It is very much a summer and winter type thing, which is a theme you're going to see inside of this story. You will see that they're opposites, very similar to the seasons being opposite and crashing into each other inside of the story. So with these two, they very much have that appearance of similar things and similarities, whereas they are actually kind of the opposite and complement each other quite nicely. So there I do believe there's several discussions that kind of brings it up, but, to kind of give an overarching, Jack really loves that she genuinely is his opposite and complements him so well. And anything else I say beyond that will end up being a spoiler, so that's kind of what you got for now. You are crazy. I can't wait to read all these stories. I know, me putting out... I did not intend that. That was not my intention. I had things sneak up on me. Until yesterday, let's be very honest, until yesterday, I was definitely thinking that Easter was mid-April and not right at the very beginning of April, so I wrote the entire book yesterday and sent it to my editors. That's a thing. Thank goodness it was a novella and not a full-length novel. Whew. But it's with the editors right now. The tree scene in the book was so cool. Everyone needs to read that part. Isn't that... Okay, I'm going to be honest. I haven't read this book since I wrote it. 4 years ago. And so... 3 years ago, I guess it would be. And so I'm like, yes, the tree scene. Wait, is that what I'm thinking of? It is. No, wait, is it? Was there more? Was there something else? So I think I know what you're talking about, but also maybe I don't know what you're talking about. I'm gonna have to rethink that. I don't know. You know who I really like inside of the story that is not one of my main characters, not one of the children, though? Azra. She is, the best friend, and she's, the sassy, short, little, will rip your eyes out of your skull if you hurt my best friend kind of best friend. And she is just... she's very, very tiny. She's very flirtatious with one of the boys. She very much likes to, threaten Jack. She very much likes to take charge. She's the tiny little one that will run herself right up a tree. And I love her friendship with Genesis. And that she is friends with Jack. But also, if you mess with Jen, she's going to take your eye out. It's going to be fun. So, she's definitely one of my favorite characters inside of this story. Outside of that, I also very strongly love Eliza and her brother Perrin and their relationship to each other and the secrets that they keep as well. Very, very interesting. Ness is a fun one. Nathaniel's a little bit of a love triangle, love interest, except Genesis is with Jack. She loves Jack. She's here for Jack. But there's a slight competition between Jack and Nathaniel, and stuff does go down a little bit, and it does impact other things that I can't talk about because spoilery, but Riley, if you want a little something later, because I know you've read it already, DM me. And so Nathaniel's really very interesting, and he definitely gets to come up and play kind of devil's advocate in certain situations. He kind of gets to be a confidant in certain situations for both Jack and Jen, because he's friends with Jack, but also Jack's a little intimidated, because this is a good-looking dude who is hanging out with his girlfriend. So Jack definitely gets a little possessive at certain parts of the stories and stuff. But I very much enjoy talking about these characters. I haven't been able to do this in a very long time. Y'all, I'm enjoying myself. But keep asking the questions. Let's keep talking about these things. I forgot that Easter was coming up too. I know, it snuck up on me. I definitely thought it was in the middle of next month, but it's not. It's it's a week from Sunday is what it is. Do I usually have a theme or think of a theme as I write? So I know what I'm writing. I do know what I'm writing, and I write to an end. I am a plantser, so I'm writing between plotting and pantsing. I know the big stepping stones I'm going to be writing, and I figure out the details as I go. So I'm always writing toward that, but I do try to, work in different themes and tropes and things along the way, and I do have an awareness of them as I'm writing. So when I see something that starts to be the very teeny tiny beginning of something, I can then decide, am I going to implement this strongly into my story, or am I going to let this go? Do I have too much? Do I have too little? Do I want to bring those in? This one ended up having a lot of things in there, a lot of symbolism, a lot of ties. If you have read this book, and then you look back and you really think about it on a psychological note, you can start to see a lot of symbolism in a lot of things, a lot of strings connected to a lot of different things. And unless you're paying attention and you're actively looking for those things, you're not going to get it. It's just going to be a lovely story. You're going to enjoy it. It's going to be great. But when you get into the psychology of it, when you get into all the little details, I have put so much work into this book. I put a lot of work into all of my books. There's a lot of threads that I connect, a lot of things that people don't see unless they're looking for. Literarily, it is freaking intense. But this was a lot of work, and a lot of intentionality went into what I created, because I wanted to do these very deep, symbolic things that you don't notice unless you're actively looking for it. So if you've read it and you want to talk about those things later, I'm happy to discuss those with you, because I got deep on a lot of these things, and oh my gosh, the things that we could discuss and talk about, we could write a whole thesis on it. But I put a lot into this book because it fit, because it made sense. So I love it. The book is so good. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. The tree scene with Azra and Jen. Okay, good. That is the one you were talking about. I'm I don't know. I have no idea at this point. It's so funny. I'm glad you enjoyed that, though. It was fun, right? I need to go back and, read this. I'm getting ready to write the sequel, so I actually have to sit there and I'm going to go through and legit read it and take some notes, because usually I write my sequels back-to-back so I don't forget things, but it's been 3 years, so I got to reread. Everyone needs to read it in ebook, paperback, or hardback form. It's so good. Yeah, please grab a copy of The Conspiracy of Jack Frost. It's available today everywhere books are sold. You know the drill. It's so good. So many things. We're going to wrap this up in the next couple of minutes, guys, but if you have any last-minute questions, now is a great time to drop those down. It is a good book to reread. It is. Most of my fans who have read it in the past do reread it fairly frequently, because every time they do, they keep finding new things to draw upon and new inferences to make, and they see those different connections. And the older you get, the more life experience you have, the more that you go through, and as the times change, it impacts you differently, and you pick up different things. This is a very deep book. This is a very involved book, and every time you read it, you can find new things. So it's definitely a good reread. Is it ever weird to read your own book? Yes. I don't reread my own books, usually. Sometimes I'll, have to reread part of it to go look for a passage or something, and it'll either be oh my gosh, why did I write that? Or, oh my gosh, I wrote that. But I don't think I've ever sat there and actually read through one of my books in full for any reason, outside of, once I've written it and edited it however many times and it's been published, then I don't really touch it again, because I know the story. I don't need to. With this one, I'm going to have to, because it's been 3 years and I got to write a sequel. I also have some other sequels I have to write and do that on, because it's been a hot minute, so I guess that's about to change. But yeah, I typically don't read my own stories, because I've read them, and I have other things to do with my time, like write new stories, right? I could either read my own books again, or I could write you new books. And typically I choose to write you guys new books, so fun times there. We do have some really cool TikToks and Reels coming out today and tomorrow on the conspiracy of Jack Frost and behind the scenes, book bounding. We've got artwork and like all the cool stuff. I tell you some of the behind the scenes, I'm answering questions, all the good things. So make sure that you are leaving some comment love and sharing those here on Instagram and on TikTok, especially on those two, to get the word out, because the algorithms are so wonky right now, and we really want to make sure that people are seeing these videos so that we can continue to grow and do some cool stuff for you. I'm really excited about, and I've got big things planned. Like I said, I have hidden secrets inside of this book. I try to do it pretty fast so you guys can't see them, but we've got cool secrets inside of the stories, and it's available everywhere books are sold right now. I'm so excited for it. I'm so excited for this book birthday. This is one of my favorites. You guys know I do like to do lots of fun things for my book babies to celebrate, but this one is extra special for me because now I've got my rights back and I get to put it out the way that I want to put it out, and I've got all the cool, gorgeous stuff on the covers, and oh, it's just so good. It's so good. I'm loving it. And y'all, thank you so much for joining me for today's book party and Q&A. Ask Me Anything. I really appreciate you all being here, hanging out with me, and having all of the fun. I have been, by the way, filming myself all day long for a vlog, which comes out later this week on the behind the scenes of what a launch day actually looks like for a best-selling author. So I will be bringing you behind the scenes. I have been recording some of this. It's going to go in there. We've got some cool stuff going on. So I'm really excited to share all of that with you, and I cannot wait to make some of these announcements that I have coming, fingers crossed, later this week, as soon as the powers that be get back to me on a couple of things so that I can move forward and tell you more about this. Big things are coming. New book is coming out next week. It's called Hiding Destiny. It is my Easter book, so more about that throughout the course of the week. And stay tuned because I'll be dropping some artwork wallpapers. We're going to be doing some behind the scenes where I'm going to be introducing you more to Jack and Genesis and some of the other characters in my Instagram stories this week, and all the good, fabulous, wonderful things. So if you have questions, I would love to get those answered for you. Please make sure you are paying attention to those, and you are dropping your questions on any of my videos, my TikToks, my Instagrams, my Reels, on my stories, wherever. We're going to get this answered for you. And join me tomorrow for the live book reading of The Conspiracy of Jack Frost. Check my Instagram stories because it's going to be at a different time than usual to read the first chapter with me, and I'll be keeping you posted on that tomorrow morning. You do not want to miss out. Until then, I hope you all have a fantastic day and stay inspired. And thank you so much for sharing your birthday wishes for The Conspiracy of Jack Frost, out today everywhere books are sold. More is coming, and it is going to be good. We'll see.